Well, lots of action over the next 30 minutes, but first let's talk about the trading action where markets took a sharp knock and benchmark indices wiped out gains for the entire week. So Nifty tumbled about 200 points to end below the 200-day moving average, but just managed to hold on to the 10,750 mark. Sensex shared about 700 points by the end of the day. Bank Nifty fell 400 points, led by ICICI Bank and HDFC Bank. Mid-caps took a beating post-launch to end with cuts of 1.5%. We have Nigel D'Souza today to take us through the market action. Nigel, bears seem to have a field day today after a very strong performance by the bulls over the last 3 to 4 trading sessions.
Well, not a good day of trade at all. The Nifty has undone all the good work that we saw all of the past week. A couple of factors played out. One was that, in fact, we already had a big run of close to around 500 points odd. So there was every reason to see some kind of profit booking. And the second factor, which is more important, is that the global markets were in a bit of a tizzy. Now, in today's trading session, the Nifty ended with a cut of around 200 points. The mid-cap index as well did see selling, but it didn't give the Nifty much of a chance. When you have the IT index under pressure, as well as the banking index under pressure, both the pillars of the Nifty were under pressure. And that's why, in fact, there was no fight really left for the bulls. Now, post this today's sell-off, in fact, the Nifty has turned negative for the week as well as for the month on the whole, selling across the board. If you're looking at the frontline losers on the Nifty, you had selling on UPL. The management has been reassuring investors that there won't be a big impact in terms of the European drought that everyone's talking about. But that stock was down close to around 4%. And Adani Ports, Maruti, as well as Eicher Motors, both of them were selling. But IT has been a problem. And in this week itself, Infosys was down more than 7%. Today, the stock was dragging, as well as TCS. Both of them were under pressure, were down 2.5% to around 3% odd. And heavyweight stocks, Reliance Industries, L&T, as well as ITC, all of them did see selling. Some green on the screen if you're looking at Nifty gainers. A couple of those OMCs did well. And Coal India as well, post the interim dividend that was announced. All the stocks, in fact, ended in the green. But otherwise, in the broader markets, 3 stocks declining for just 1 stock that's advancing. And losers, there were plenty of them. You had Godfrey Phillips, Shriram Transport, CESC, as well as Ramco Cements. All of them saw big cuts in today's trading session. Short point, at the end of the week, we ended the cut of around 200 points. The Nifty turned negative for the week and, more importantly, broke the 200 DMA.
Okay, Nigel, thanks for taking us through that. So equity markets suffering a little bit, but let's talk about the big headline from the farm sector. Farmers in MP and Rajasthan are complaining of urea shortage. In fact, in some pockets of these states, farmers have also staged protests on these issues. MP Chief Minister Kamalnath is expected to meet Union Chemicals and Fertilizers Minister Inderjeet Singh soon to discuss the shortage of urea. News 18's Manoj Sharma joins in now from Bhopal to take us through the update. Manoj, what are you picking up?
Well, Madhya Pradesh is facing a tough manure crisis after change of regime, and in fact, if you go to the data, as against demand for 3.7 lakh metric ton, the state is getting just 2 lakh metric ton, and you can understand what is the problem. This difference in demand and supply is creating problem for farmers all over the state in different districts, and pure politics is on as far as this farmers crisis is concerned. This fertilizer crisis is concerned, because what the BJP is saying, this is the problem created by the new regime, by the regime of Kamalnath. And on the other hand, the Congress is alleging that they are not getting proper fertilizer supply from the center. So, what is the interesting point, that after the voting day and before the result day, this issue was discussed in last cabinet meeting by the then Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan. This fertilizer issue, this supply issue, and in fact at that time we are ensured, and in fact it was there in the media that the then Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan ensured that there would be a proper supply of fertilizer in Madhya Pradesh as far as this Rabi season is concerned. But as of now, farmers are facing problem. The Chief Minister has already spoken to the Union Fertilizer Minister and also the Rail Minister for the supply of the fertilizer, and we are waiting how the farmers are getting their due fertilizer in this Rabi season.
All right, Manoj, thanks for taking us through that. Now, while farmers are agitating against the shortage of urea in their regions, experts tell us that there is enough urea in the country. However, they add that some northern states are still facing supply issues due to non-availability of enough railway rakes. Here is what they had to say.
As far as the availability is concerned, at the macro level, if we look at, there is absolutely no shortage. And the sale up to November is higher than what we had the last year. So at the macro level, absolutely there is no shortage. We are producing, and this year we will be producing more because one more plant is going to be commissioned. Imports are taking place. Somewhere the rake availability or some delay in the movement of the rake, that small issue at the micro level, it may be there. But availability, I can assure, both on the production side and the import which is done by the government, everything is in place, and there is absolutely nothing to worry about it.
All right, on to the aviation corner. Jet Airways has gotten a fresh lease of life, or could have gotten a fresh lease of life. We learned the Jet Airways board, which met in Mumbai yesterday to discuss fundraising options, is likely to have cleared a soft loan guarantee of $150 million. We learned that Etihad will stand as the guarantor. We understand that Etihad is already in talks with 2 foreign banks to furnish that $150 million. So while, yes, the deal and the loans will go to Jet, Etihad standing as a guarantor will make Jet's chances of getting that loan slightly stronger. So this is a soft loan which will act as a stopgap arrangement till they actually infuse funds. Now, as far as fund infusion is concerned, there seems to be delay in that. On two fronts, one is questions of control, who would hold a larger stake, who would hold management control. These questions are still not clear, and the board did discuss them yesterday. We also understand that the Indian partners coming in on board for Etihad is a little bit of a question. We understand that 2 Indian partners had expressed concerns and they have backed out, and as a result of that there seems to have been a delay. So the talks with Etihad are still on, are not as fast as we would have expected. However, we also understand that the talks with Tata Group were discussed yesterday. The talks haven't been called off, but the slow progress has initiated the board to discuss on either you go to the drawing board or you cancel the deal altogether. As far as cost-cutting measures are concerned, we understand that they were discussing on how the cost-cutting measures have brought down costs over the last couple of months. So till November, the board has been able to assess that $40 million has been saved, and going forward, they are looking at putting more cost-cutting measures into perspective. So that is as far as the loan is concerned and as far as the way forward is concerned. But continuing with Jet Airways, we also understand that post the loan guarantee by Etihad, SBI could consider either giving a fresh loan to Jet Airways or converting debt to equity. Anu Sharma has these exclusive details. Anu, how exactly will this work?
So, as we learned from various sources, that Jet Airways has been in consistent talks with the State Bank of India for fresh loans, and also we learned that the bank may also consider converting a part of debt into equity under a restructuring exercise. Remember, last week, Jet Airways had said that SBI is conducting a forensic audit which is being conducted via EY for a period of 4 years from 2014 to 2018 to study any irregularities. Now, sources tell us that this might be a positive step and maybe an exercise of crossing all T's and dotting all I's before the fresh debt or the conversion takes place. But what we are given to understand that this exercise will only take place after, of course, the forensic audit, and also when the soft loans from Etihad make their way into Jet Airways. In fact, pilots have been told that their pending salaries may be cleared earlier than the given schedule on the hopes that the airline might be witnessing an early financial aid. My colleague Ritu Singh did reach out to some banking sources, and she has learned that while talks of resolution for Jet Airways are at various stages, as of now, there is no proposal to extend any further loans. But when that happens, further loans will only be granted as part of a resolution plan. Jet Airways maintains that it will not comment on speculation when we reached out to Jet Airways, and SBI is yet to respond to CNBC queries. Back to you.
Right. Okay, Anu, thanks for taking us through that. So those are the 2 exclusive jet stories for you. But staying with aviation, data for the month of November shows that domestic air passenger traffic growth slipped to 11% during the month, hitting the lowest level in 51 months. Sonia Shenoy is here to explain why. Sonia, this is also the second consecutive month of growth slowdown. Take us through your analysis of these numbers and what do experts say on what led to this?
Well, thanks so much for that. Definitely there is a slowdown in the aviation industry. You're seeing it in the numbers in the month of November. Growth has slowed down to 11% in November versus 13% in the month of October, and about on an average of 20% over the last 6 months. So it's the second consecutive month of a sub 15% growth. Now, there are a couple of reasons for this. One, fares have shot up over the past couple of months. Remember, on an average, when the aviation industry was growing by 20%, fares were quite subdued at that point. But now, over the last many months, the aviation companies have passed on the higher input costs in the form of higher fares, and that has caused a bit of a slump in terms of demand. So growth has slowed down, but if you look at the absolute number of passengers carried, that has remained stagnant. So even in the month of November, we've seen about 1.16 crore passengers carried versus about 1.18 crore last month. So there's been no real contraction. However, the growth, the 20% plus growth that we saw for the last many months, that has slowed down to about 11% odd. Back to you.